Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography, where old friends and fans come together, BS, argue, occasionally agree, and discuss a musical artist. This week's musical artist is Wesley Willis. The Offspring.
Oh, please.
I question everything I know about music at this point.
If you haven't checked out Bill's reaction to Wesley Willis, go do that now. If you haven't heard Wesley Willis, go do that
now.
If you click this
Rock and roll McDonald's.
talk about the Offspring, then that's what we're going to do now. I'm Jason. With me is Bill.
I don't even know what I've done for the last half hour, man.
Wesley Willis done fucked him up, and Tim.
I stuck a caribou's ass.
And we're here to talk about the Offspring's Supercharged. I got my vinyl copy, Sapphire, 300 made. So
Nice. No bonus tracks. No,
it's a brand new record. They'll release that bonus tracks later.
See, back in the day, they used to throw one on that first print.
Well, they don't do that anymore. We get 10 tracks. That's all we get.
Calling it 10 would be generous, I think.
Yeah, it's a very short Offspring record compared to the past ones.
Yeah.
So, Bill, how you want to do this?
I was just saying I got my copy too. I wasn't cool like Jason, though. I just got the Blue Marble Indie exclusive when I got mine.
Support your local record store.
Yeah, it'll be a collector's item.
Yeah, good. Yeah, yep.
I mean, how do we want to do this?
You
guys want me to go first?
Guys are
going to have infinitely more to say about it than I will.
Well, yes, but just disclaimer: if you're an Offspring fan, stick around to after Tim. We're the two Offspring fans. We'll talk about it.
I'll go into it again. Regular viewers know my history with this band, but I saw them on the Smash tour when I was in high school, so I was still a kid. But even then, I knew that show sucked, and I walked out, and I've been off that train ever since. I mean, Pretty Fly for a White Guy wasn't getting me back on. And
give it to me, baby.
All I want to do is fly away with you. I think this album sounds pretty good. I love the guitar tone on this album. Like, Bob Rock delivers every time. His albums always sound really good to me. And I'm sure part of that is my own nostalgia, loving the Black Album and Dr. Feelgood, and even going as far back as Slippery When Wet, like Bob Rock. And the Veruca Salt album, 8 Arms to Hold You, that was Bob Rock. That album sounds fantastic.
Yep.
But I mean, I love Bob Rock's work. And not being a fan of The Offspring, I thought the rhythm section was passable, but did absolutely nothing interesting. Love the guitar tone. Throughout this album, the guitar sounds amazing. He's doing really cool parts. I can almost the arrangements are kind of passe. They're kind of predictable, but the guitar parts bring them to life. Love the tone, love the guitar. The vocals are very processed. They're predictable as well, although not in a way where it's so distracting that it takes you out of the song. And I know we reviewed Going to Brazil at one point. I don't even remember what I said, but I remember my first listen was it sounded like them just trying to do a metal track. Whereas in the context of the album, I think it actually works a lot better. Because there's a lot of energy on here. My biggest question throughout this album, and I'll turn it over to you guys with this. When did the Offspring turn into Def Leppard? No. When did the Offspring turn into Poison?
Right after Splinter, I would say.
That's where we're at. This is a Poison album. It's not bad.
Well,
There's a lot to like,
thing
but
is,
songwriting wise, it's super generic.
I mean, this is rubber banding though from the last couple albums, I would argue.
Which I haven't heard. So I'm going into this one blind. And where
I
they're
mean,
at, this week or whatever, however long it took them to record this, it's not bad. It's not bad. But I'm not an Offspring fan, and so I'm finding too many faults where they're not giving me anything that I can go like, no, okay, I can actually listen to this again. Other than the guitar. I'll listen to that guitar. The guitar parts on here are awesome. And that's what I got.
All right, Bill. Let's go back and forth.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I was going to do track by track. I brought up our Make It All Right.
Well, we didn't make it all right, yeah.
Yeah, I brought up my predictions. So let's see how it plays out. Looking out for number 1, my prediction was it's a fucking banger because every Offspring album starts out generally with a fucking banger. This is the weakest opening track in their discography. I'm not a fan of the overproduction on the verse and the pre-chorus. The chorus itself is pretty fire, though.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of catchy, but I didn't like the theme of the lyrics either. Especially in 2024. It seems very out of touch.
Yeah, this is their worst opening track, which was kind of a disappointment.
I mean, I gotta think about that with worst opening track. Definitely one of the weaker ones, though. But, I mean, I went into this. I mean, given the fact I heard Make It All Right and Come to Brazil as like the two lead-off singles.
Well, you're skipping a single.
Yeah. What was it? That was Light It Up was the other one, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't listen to Light It Up before it came out.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Like, I expected Let the Bad Times Roll Part 2, but worse. That being said, the first track, yeah, like it was a downgrade from Let the Bad Times Roll, which go watch our Offspring rankings. That was the first episode I did on ODD. And I mean, it tells you exactly what I thought about their first not the first album, their Let the Bad Times Roll. What was at that point their most recent album.
All right, Light It Up. My prediction was closer to Fall Out Boy, but I was wrong. Light It Up's a fucking banger. That's an old school Offspring song.
That's
I was getting a lot of first album vibes, especially from the rhythm section.
Yeah, it's old school.
They just
Offspring.
didn't do anything spectacular. It's very clean.
It's nothing new.
Yeah.
So Light It Up for me, it's like, oh shit, like this is like OG Offspring, like
yeah.
But in 2024, like, oh shit, like this
with Bob Rock. Yeah.
Oh.
That was their second single, and I was like, okay, I mean that checks out. Their second single is usually like the, hey, old school Offspring fans, check this out. And you're like,
forgive us for that first single.
Yeah, don't pay attention to that Pretty Fly for a White Guy song. All right.
I mean, when we're done with the grinder, we should have an episode where we pick the 20 worst songs of the decade.
Ooh.
The thing is, we have to have some sort of parameters. Like, it has to be a song that
the decade
charted top 100 or something like that.
Well, and I'm sorry to go off the rails, and I agree with you, Bill, 100%.
Because otherwise you'd be like, oh yeah, like I heard this mixtape from my one classmate that sounded like shit. Like, no shit, like
we can do like 15. Like We each just pick 15 worst songs of the decade or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, track 3, The
Yeah,
Fall
top
Guy.
40.
My
I don't
prediction
know.
was it was a decent song. My prediction was correct. It's pretty damn good. Sounds like Conspiracy Offspring. It's not original, but it's a decent Offspring song.
See, and for well, we got to Fall Guy, and honestly, for these first three, I was feeling a lot of Rise and Fall coming through.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's Offspring.
Yeah. Which it was like, okay, like at least it isn't Americana, which they, again, those sounds were just ripping off Americana at that point, but
Make
it
it
was
all
nice
right.
to see the regression, not regression, but like progressive recession back to those albums, I guess would be the
Yeah,
correct phrasing.
yeah, that checks out. Yeah, make it all right. Stupid and dumb, but it's catchy.
Is it
The only
though?
the
It's
only
not
thing
the
that
worst joke song. It's not the worst joke song.
it's up there.
It's up there.
That I mean,
Y
that's just
uno,
because,
dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, cinco, seis.
but I mean, it's up there only because I absolutely despise original Prankster.
But it's the same song, like
It's the same song.
melodically.
You know, it's
Oh
not
yeah,
Cruising California.
bumping in my trunk, bumping in my trunk. Um,
Okay,
Oh, that one was. Oh God, I forget. Oh, that one's so bad. It's so forgettable.
it's so good. I love bumping in my trunk.
that one, it's better than this. It's better than Make It All Right.
Well, you damn right. It's the best joke song they got. I'll stand by
I
that.
mean, I like Pretty Fly more, but that's I wasn't around in '98, so.
No. All right, track 5. My prediction was it's a fucking banger. I was wrong. It's not a banger.
Oh my God,
The
that was
verses
the
are
worst.
so damn good, though. I liked it. It was a 50-50 song. Parts I loved, parts I hated. The chorus was pretty awful, but the verses were really good.
Dude,
Yeah,
my thought
yeah.
was that they went full Fall Out Boy on that one. Honest to
The
gosh.
choruses were pretty Fall Out Boy, but the verses are pretty good.
I mean, that was by far for me the low point of this album. Like, it's not
Okay.
even close.
That's
I
interesting.
I heard here's the issue. I heard that at the end of side A. I'm like, oh my God. I don't even know if I want to flip to side B right now.
That's good. That's a good. All right, Truth and Fiction. My prediction: second single, a Gone Away / Christie type song. I was wrong because the second single was the banger. This one's a fucking banger too. Just do an entire album like this, and I would be happy. It's very Smash sounding.
So
Just do
my
this.
thoughts, I thought that was a great transition from side A to side B. I thought that actually helped bring back, let's say it was definitely a step up, a step back in the right direction. And I think it helped the album transition to Come to Brazil just because just the tones and everything they had going on to what is the most metal they've probably ever sounded in Come to Brazil.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Truth and Fiction is like old school fucking Offspring, just like straight skate punk.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
that's all I
I
want
mean,
from the Offspring.
But even then, it's not as good as like a just give me a suicidal
Well, no,
album.
yeah, no, it's not. We're talking the Offspring here.
yeah.
You know,
True, true.
Come to Brazil. My prediction was it was a goofy song, not a joke song. That kind of fits. Like, where the fuck did
Kinda?
Come to Brazil come from? Starts out like arena rock. It's got some crazy guitar riffs, and it kicks into some Metallica sounding shit. This is the audible version of the album cover. I'm a fan.
I mean, initially when I listened to, because I remember when you sent me the link for when they released it, my initial reaction was, what the fuck? Like
What
this
the
is an
fuck?
Offspring song? That's like, you know, it's actually pretty fucking good.
It
I don't.
works well in the context of the
In the
album.
context of the
Oh
album, it
God, yeah.
works. Yeah. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want a whole album like that from the Offspring anyway.
I mean,
Yeah, if you listen to it on its own, it's pretty goofy. But in the
yeah,
context of the album, it does
it's
work.
good. Yeah.
All right, Get Some. My prediction was 8 through 10 were all bangers. Bill predicted track 8 would be a goofy Walla Walla type song. I think we were both kind of right. It's a little
We're both
goofy.
kind of right.
It's a little goofy, but it's still a fucking banger. Almost like Motorhead light in parts. It exceeded my expectations.
After Come to Brazil, it's like, okay, like this is again, it's part two where it's like, okay, this is starting to sound like Rise and Fall, like, which is, go back, watch our Offspring. That was my favorite Offspring album. Like, I really like what they were doing with it.
Yeah, I was a little shocked on that one. Hanging by a Thread, fucking banger. It's fine. It sounds like the Offspring I know. I wouldn't skip it.
I mean, it's sandwiched between Get Some and You Can't Get There From Here. I felt like it was a slight, not necessarily a dip, but just like a swoop minorly down between those two.
Well, that means we're
But
going
it
to
was still
disagree.
a good song.
I'm going to disagree on this closing track. I can feel it now.
Yeah, we are.
You can't get there from here. Pretty weak closing track for the Offspring. They usually go out with a bang. This ain't no rise and fall or smash or even a slim pickings. But it's not bad. It just pales to past closers.
If we're comparing it to closers, yes, it pales. But I think it's a solid closer compared to the rest of this album.
Eh. Okay.
I I mean, oh, it was
I'll say this. I like Supercharged more than Bad Times. My low points are Make It Alright, Looking Out, and half of Okay, but this is the last time. Highlights are Truth and Fiction, Light It Up in Brazil, Hanging by a Thread. Not sure where it ranks in the discography, but it's not at the bottom. It's not the worst Offspring record.
honestly, I mean, for me, I'd put this somewhere probably in the middle if I had to sign it somewhere.
I don't
Um,
know if I'd go that high.
well, middle like within like the middle five albums. So,
It'd be in there, yeah.
um, I don't know. My I was pleasantly surprised because
I mean,
I expected them to continue down the path that they did for Let the Bad Times Roll.
when your expectations are low, though,
That's the thing. Like it was ridiculously well. When the first song you hear is "Make It
Right?
All
When did they
Right,"
become Def Leppard?
they're not Def Leppard because,
Are
well,
they not though?
no.
they're not 6 years behind the time yet.
No, because
Well,
nobody
we'll
really
find out in
wants
6
this.
years. Yeah.
I don't think they phoned it in. I think they tried with this record.
Yeah.
They're
I
just
can hear
not.
that.
They're not like. I don't know. It's basically just the Noodles and Dexter machine now. Like there's no Offspring
Well, and it
anymore.
looks like Dexter wrote the whole thing.
Yeah, probably
Yeah,
overnight too.
which at least it was a quick turnaround this time. It wasn't a long
It
gap
wasn't.
between records.
It's like, what was the last one? 12 years? No, not
Yeah,
12, but it was like
Do
it
they
was
still
something
tour
ridiculous.
consistently?
yeah, they still play shows.
Okay.
Yeah, they're touring. They were touring with No Effects here. Well, not touring with them, but like they were playing a lot of the No Effects
They were
shows here.
grabbing onto some of those shows. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dexter was
Bunch of
there at
bands were doing
the
that.
final show. Like he was up there with his
Yeah.
guitar.
Yep.
We got to get to No Effects. We got to do No Effects on the show.
100%.
But yeah, I mean, I wasn't
I went hunting for my favorite NoFX song, and I thought it was on one album, but I found it on another. So now I got to question my whole rankings.
I'm curious what your favorite NoFX song is.
I'll save it for top songs. Stick
Okay.
around.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy this record. Will it make my top 10 for the year? I don't know. It's too tough to tell. Still got another 2 albums coming out, but I don't know. I mean, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, so that's a plus. Yeah, I don't know.
Right
I mean,
there.
it's a decent album, but it's not.
It sounds great. And for
Yeah, I mean,
2024, like there's an energy to it. It's not terrible.
I mean,
yeah.
let's say this is. I mean, all right, compared to like a counterpart, I would say, right, Offspring 2024, you could almost compare to like Green Day 2024, right? Green Day did Dookie in 94, Offspring did Smash in 94, right? Those were both of their major breakthroughs. Green Day released Saviors this year, and Offspring released
I'd
Supercharged.
probably pick this over Saviors.
And that's like I'd be in
Uh,
that same boat too, Tim. Like that's
Okay.
I
it's
don't
Yeah.
think
interesting.
I mean,
so.
I haven't listened to Saviors since it came out, so I'll have to go back to it. But as of right now, like the guitar work on here is fantastic.
That's a toughie.
That is tough
That's a toughie.
because they're both kind of like C
The
minus.
say, especially when you compare it to the rest of each of their respective discographies.
We're
That
gonna
was the
redo. We're
start of
gonna redo
season
the
one.
Offspring. Yeah, we're gonna redo the Offspring. We're gonna go album by album. We're gonna make Tim listen to fucking Ignition. We're
Well,
gonna
then
make
we're gonna redo my first one and make Bill listen to some Soundgarden.
you fucking right. I'll listen to Soundgarden
Super
again.
unknown went in, but yeah, I'm
Motherfucking
down
Bad
listening to
Not my
Motorfinger,
Soundgarden.
number
motherfucker.
one.
Not my number one either. What you know about that fucking Bad Motorfinger?
Right? I've been listening to a couple of those albums here a lot lately, so
I want to go
they
back to
just
Down on
hold
the
up.
Upside. I want to go back to that one. So
Yeah, they just hold up.
they do
Fucking
hold up.
Dusty, Rhinosaur, Tighter
So
and Tighter. This album's so good, so good.
I wasn't disappointed with Supercharged. I think it fits the mold of the Offspring where there's a couple songs on here like Get Some, Truth and Fiction. They're like some top song Offspring bangers that I will pull off and put into my Offspring playlist. But
Yeah,
there's
and I can see
also
where if this was your entry point, like it's pretty good.
if this was your
But
entry
for
point.
those of us who have known the Offspring for a couple decades now, like sounds like the Offspring.
I mean, if it was within the last decade, it'd be good for this to be your entry point, maybe. Just because in the last decade it hasn't been that good.
I can see this album being an entry point.
Let the Bedtimes Roll was so bad. So
As I
they're at
said,
least
within the last
yeah, they're at least going in the right direction with this one.
yeah, say they're back at like mid 2000s form.
Yeah. Well, stick around into the end of the year. We'll see where Supercharged lands. All right. Yeah, we got a lot of good albums this year. So stick around. That's been our first impressions. I mean, we've only had this album for a couple days
Less
now.
than
So
48 hours, right?
yeah. So it might grow. It might grow.
It could.
What
Oh, that
else?
Melvin's album, that High on Fire was so good. That Alkaline Trio was good. A
Yeah,
lot of good stuff this year.
that Melvin's is really good. That Strung Out
Yeah.
was. You take it out of the context of Strung Out's discography, then that's a good Strung Out record.
I mean, I've gone back to that Lucifer album a couple times. I think it's really good.
I've gone back to that Jesus Lizard quite a lot. That Jesus Lizard's fucking rocks, dude.
Yeah, that's a great album too.
Well, stick around. We should be in the middle of our Alkaline Trio discography. And because it's spooky season. So happy Halloween. And our Linda Linda's review is coming out. So you don't want to miss that. Be safe and make good decisions.
And then you go a little woo, and then a little whoop, 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 and then it's all, and then you're ready to go again.